Welcome to Moms of the Lou, hosted by two fellow St. Louis moms, Rebecca
and Lauren,
and recorded for St. Louis moms.
Grab your laundry basket, kick your feet up for nap time, or head out the door for pickup, and spend a little time catching up with local moms who are making a big impact in St. Louis.
Let's dive into our discussion today. This episode of Moms of the Lou is brought to you by the Salvation Army. All right, St. Louis moms, we are back for another episode of Moms of the Lou. We're so excited to have today's guest. We've been wanting to have her on for a while now, so I'm sure you're going to recognize her. She is a household name, household face. So welcome to Michelle Lee, anchor for KSDK Channel 5 here in St. Louis.
Oh my gosh, thanks for having me. It's really exciting.
We're so excited. We've been wanting to
excited.
do this for so long. We've been wanting to have you on the pod.
Well, I get to see you like every now and then.
Every
so,
now and
yeah.
then when we've got a little seasonal thing to promote or.
I love it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about all the things. We're going to talk
Okay.
about your job. We're going to talk about all the things. But first of all, you're a St. Louis mom. That's what brings you here today. So tell us a little bit about your family.
Oh, my family. So it took us 10 years to get our family together because we struggled with infertility for a long time. And I was adopted. So I really wanted to have a birth family, like a biological connection. So my husband and I tried for a very long time and then kind of kept moving around to try, oh my gosh, now I can't even think of the methods that we did. We did IVF.
Yeah.
What was the one before that? IUI?
IUI.
Yes. So we did.
Yeah.
Okay. So we did all
Yeah.
those things. And then finally got pregnant with my son.
Aw.
And I love him. He's so crazy. Turning 7 this week.
Ooh.
7.
Fun
I
age.
know. I know.
I love it.
But yeah, so and then by the time we were thinking about another one, I was like, I'm done. We are one and done.
Yeah.
So I think I was 39 when I
Yeah.
had my son. And so it's just been fun. It's like, we survived the pandemic.
Mhm.
We
Yes.
did all these things that were just kind of crazy, moved across the country, all those, I don't know, big life things.
Yeah. You've been through a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Been
But
through a
yeah,
lot.
so it's just the three of us. It's just the three of us. We were dog parents for a long time.
Yeah. And that
Love it.
certainly counts. That
Yeah.
certainly counts.
Totally.
So what neighborhood do you live in?
Oh my gosh. We live in a really interesting pocket of St. Louis
Huh?
called Crystal Lake Park.
Oh, I know. Yes.
You know where that is?
I do. Aren't you? Is that near
People
De Pere? Am I getting this wrong?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Some people get it confused with Crystal City.
Right.
So it's kind of in between De Pere, Town and Country, Frontenac,
Yeah.
maybe.
Okay.
But it's a really, I say normal neighborhood. I
Yeah.
think it was maybe built in the 50s, maybe.
Mhm.
Okay.
And all the houses are kind of mid-century modern or ranches.
Ooh,
Like
fun.
my neighbor's house is a really beautiful mid-century modern house. Mine's just kind of a flat ranch.
Uh-huh.
But it's like 4 roads. That's it. 4 streets.
No way.
Completely residential. Very chill. But
Okay.
it's kind of like if you go out on Bope or Clayton, you'll see
Yeah.
Yeah.
$2 and $3 million houses.
Right.
And then our
Yes.
regular house is just like in the nook somewhere.
The best
Yeah.
place to be is
Yeah.
that pocket inside, surrounded by them.
Yeah.
Right?
And it just
That's
happened to
awesome.
be that way. Like we bought our house sight unseen when we were on the West
Oh,
Coast.
no way.
Oh, wow.
And so we
That's
were
a
just
risk.
yeah. Well, and there were things that we pulled up for the first time, I was like, oh, that's interesting, know. But we couldn't ask for anything better because it's just centrally located to everything,
Right.
which is nice.
So you're not a native to St. Louis. You said you moved cross country.
Yes.
Were
Okay.
you in Seattle before this?
I was
Before
in
St. Louis?
Seattle.
Okay.
I know my colleagues always make fun of me because I'm always like, well, in Seattle. It's
Yeah.
so stupid. But actually, I'm a Missouri girl.
Okay.
So I
okay.
grew up in rural Missouri in Cass County.
Oh, yeah. Cass County.
Do you know Cass
I
County?
do know Cass
No,
County.
you don't. How?
Well, because I went to Mizzou. So
Oh.
I was on the newspaper over there. So I
gosh.
learned about all the.
So funny.
Yeah.
So we were so rural that I guess a long time ago we were a big chicken farm city,
Okay.
town, something. So we were home of the roosters. Home of the roosters and chicks.
That's so Midwest.
So Midwest. So
No wonder you're saying, well, back in Seattle.
I know.
Back in Seattle.
Let me
The
let's
good
talk
old
more
days.
about
No,
that.
oh my gosh. I mean, but you know what though? I think about it. I loved it. So when growing up, we would cruise town, the one lane.
Yeah.
We would go to Sonic, get a cherry limeades or whatever, and we would always go to a bonfire. Like literally, that was our routine. Like every Friday and Saturday night. Hey, we're gonna go to Ronnie Ponder's bonfire.
Make it easy.
That's awesome.
That's a name I haven't said in years. But, it's the idea that we were very country, like
Yeah.
a real country kid. So,
Yeah.
and then my husband grew up in South County. And then we actually met in Springfield, Missouri.
Oh.
So I worked at the NBC affiliate in Springfield for like 8 years. And it was kind of funny because I had never actually been to Springfield before I got the job. I think I'd maybe been like once, So it was a totally different world to be in Southwest Missouri. But I really loved Southwest Missouri. And we try to go back every summer and spring to go to Branson.
Oh, fun.
Oh, love Branson.
I love Branson. Honestly, I love it. It's sometimes I have to convince my friends, no, Branson's so fun. You can have a fun girls weekend.
Yeah.
Or the kids love, Silver
Isn't there a
Dollar
great
City.
spa there?
Maybe at Big Cedar?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Maybe.
A few girlfriends go there for spa girl. Anyways.
I love that. I didn't know you were a country girl. That's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really grew up like hunting, fishing, like all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So then where did you, well, wait, backtrack. Okay.
Mm.
So where do you like to go in St. Louis? Like, number one, where do you like to go with your son? And where do you like to go, like, on a date night?
Ooh. Well, we really like the botanical garden, the zoo, like all the kind of staples.
The staples. Yep.
And then honestly, I don't know if this is going to sound bougie or not, but I really like the Missouri Athletic Club
Ooh.
because to me, it's kind of an investment,
For sure.
but they have $5 an hour childcare. So
Wow.
if you
Amazing.
can do, so if you can do 1 or 2 nights a month, then it totally makes up for, like going out on a date. So you can like drop your kids off at childcare and then go upstairs and have dinner or
I've
work
got
out.
girlfriends who do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
I mean, sometimes I'm like, I don't know. I love the
not bougie,
MAC,
that's
but
smart.
That's smart. Yeah.
but it is to me. I'm always like, how much are we paying for this? But to me, we get our money's worth, hands down. So if you get your
$5
money's
an
worth,
hour.
yes. And they
That's
have this
great,
thing called Activities where it used to be free, where you could just drop the kids off from 5:30 to 8:30, go upstairs, have a girls' night or whatever.
Yeah.
Then pick up the kids and go home.
Oh.
Now you have to pay like $10 or something. But
Okay.
it's
Still a
fine.
steal.
Yeah. Still.
That's
yeah.
awesome. Okay.
Yeah. But let's see. Other date nights. We just try to get to any restaurant, really. And we're not picky. We like to go to Webster Groves. We like to go to Olive and Oak. We like to go Dee Mao. I mean, just everywhere.
Webster does have the best eats.
Best eats.
It
We're
really
in
does.
Kirkwood. She just
Yeah.
moved like down the street
Oh my
from
gosh.
me.
Yeah.
We're
Not
Kirkwood
in-
residents. But Webster,
Yeah. Webster Kirkwood. Yeah.
Best
It
food.
does. It
I
really
know.
does. I saw somewhere, doesn't Kirkwood have like some sort of club or something, like private bar? Have you seen? I saw like
Webster?
no, in Kirkwood.
Kirkwood.
I
don't know.
just
Lauren-
thought I was
Lauren
like,
is
what
Miss
is this?
Kirkwood. I
I
would
thought
not
I
know.
knew everything about Kirkwood. Wow.
I thought like, oh, this is interesting. It was like
No.
almost like not a speakeasy, but it was definitely like some sort of private club. I saw.
Oh.
I was like, and it was like older. I mean, I shouldn't say older. People my age were going to it, and I was like, oh,
Oh.
interesting.
I'm going to dig a little deeper.
I
Dig
know.
deep on that
Find
one,
out.
Lauren. Gotta find the scoop.
I
Oh
know.
my gosh. Okay, so you're a mom. You're a working
Mhm.
mom.
Mhm.
Your schedule, I assume, is different.
It's
You're
different.
on morning news. So what time? Tell me about your mornings and like your routines and.
Okay, I get up around 2 or 2:30,
Okay.
and then I leave the house at 3ish, and then bust into work probably 3:30. So I mean, really, that's kind of it gives me a little time. Like, am I leaving at 3:10, 3:15? I don't know.
Yeah.
And then when I get to work, I touch base with all of the producers and
Mhm.
just see what do they need help with anything? Can I write something? Then I sit at my desk for like 45 minutes to an hour, reading over scripts, writing scripts, and then get ready for the mad dash of makeup from 4:30 to 4:55. I
Okay.
should probably be out there at
Wow.
4:50.
Okay.
But
Wow.
So you're
uh,
not like from 2 to 3 at home. You're not doing any kind of makeup
oh
or
God,
hair.
no.
Okay.
I come in looking like a totally different person.
Mhm.
No eyelashes, hair in a top knot,
Yes,
and
yeah.
almost in my PJs because I feel like why get dressed if you can just have your clothes
Totally.
ready at work,
Yeah. Really.
Plus, it's like a recital. I feel like
Mm.
journalism is journalism,
Mhm.
but then there is this element where you have to put Spanx on, put your eyelashes on, all those things. So then it's like a recital. So sometimes I'm just like, let's just get the recital clothes ready,
Right.
Well, in your job, it's like, of course, you're delivering the news, but also like it's a very visible
Yes.
you're visibly representing as
job.
well. It's part of the job.
I kind of hate it. But at the
Mm.
same time, I feel like what a great time to be on camera in general because you don't have to be a certain size. You don't have to have, certain hair or whatever. You just have to have I hate even saying this, but maybe a polished look. That's what people say.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't always look polished. I mean, there are definitely times where I'm like, oh God.
You look polished.
Yeah.
But
definitely polished.
it's just the idea that you don't have to be rail thin anymore or like, have a certain hairstyle. Like people used to not be able to have curly hair on TV, all these things, so so I think that's kind of nice,
Yeah.
but it's still a mad dash to get those eyelashes on.
So you do all your own hair and makeup.
Oh, it's obvious. I do all my own hair.
I would not say it's
can you
obvious
see all
at
my
all.
grays?
It's not
Oh my
obvious.
God,
No.
yeah.
You've got
It's not
volume.
obvious at all.
You have a lot of you have good volume.
Oh, I do?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Thank you. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
I feel like
don't
that's a
think so.
misconception though, because I always thought,
That they get their hair and makeup.
yeah,
done.
Oh,
with the
I think-
anchors, yeah.
And
I
that
think maybe
also-
at one time.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, like years and years ago.
But also that Michelle is writing she's writing her stories too. Like
Yes.
you have many hats,
Oh yeah.
as an
Well,
anchor.
nowadays you have to.
Yeah.
But I should say, so there are producers who write the newscast.
Mhm.
So if you're the 5 o'clock, producer, you're taking care of everything from 5 to 6.
Mhm.
And that might be like finding stories on the feed from CNN or NBC or, looking at the AP wires, all those things. And then you're building your show. And then I come in and I say, oh, wait, what about this? Because wasn't this part of this? And, trying to connect some dots.
Mhm.
And then I go out and shoot my own stories. And then that's what I have control over, when I go out and gather my own information. So it might be like a consumer story, or it might be like the last story I did was, technical trade school stuff.
Oh,
so
cool.
it was like, why go to college when you can go to trade school and in 9 months make 6 figures, that kind of story.
Experience the uplifting beauty of nearly 400 young singers on stage at the newly renovated Powell Hall. Join the St. Louis Children's Choirs and artistic director Allison Moore for their holiday concert, Illuminate, a concert that shines with warmth, wonder, and the light of children's song. The St. Louis Children's Choirs are in their 48th season of transforming young lives through musical excellence. Make the choir's holiday concert your new annual holiday tradition. Illuminate, December 7th at 4 p.m. at Powell Hall. Tickets and info at slccsing.org. Yeah. How has, in 2025, how has the breaking news, just the news industry changed in general?
Oh my God.
Would you say with like the dawn of social media and just the rate at which people are consuming information and their news, like how has it changed?
In some ways, I feel like it's so disheartening because there's so much content. It's like content overload.
Yes.
And then even when I'm watching stuff, I'm like, is that true? I actually have no idea. Is that real? You know?
Is it factual?
Yes.
You actually have to be like an advocate for yourself, just to make sure that what you're consuming is
True.
Or
It's
how
true.
many times have you like reshared something and you're like, oh wait, that was from 3 years ago.
Yes.
There are all those
Yes.
things.
absolutely.
So you're just a human consuming all this stuff. Back when I started in news, it would have been like, I was in school in the late 90s, getting out of the early 2000s. News was still good. Like news was still viable. People would still rush home to watch the 6 o'clock news.
Yes.
You would do one thing different with your hair and people would be like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
everyone noticed everything about news and relied on news.
Mhm.
And now it's not the same. Now, granted, people could say cable changed that, the 24/7 news
Yeah.
cycle changed that. And then now with social media, it's really changed.
Mhm.
And the thing that I hate is that everything is so political. Now,
Mhm.
granted, life is political, okay?
Yes.
Like it's always been like that. But it seems more so where you can't have a statement that is really a fact
Mhm.
that people will say, oh, well, that's just because you're this way or you're that way.
Mhm.
I mean, the greatest compliment is someone thinks that you're both.
Yeah.
So then
Yeah.
you're like, well, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very neutral.
But I think that's the hardest thing because you're like, well, how is this common sense? Like, where is the
Mhm.
common sense in this? And you
Yeah.
can really live in your silo if you want to. And that's what sucks about news, I think.
Well, and it seems like with everyone having access to a platform, now lots of people could be experts,
I
right?
Mhm.
And they have access to lots of people and can share lots of information, right? And it's like,
Mhm.
how are we vetting it? How are we, like where I feel like with traditional journalism, pre social media, like there was a vetting process, to
Sure.
make sure that like this is factual and we know like the source. And, that's like Whenever my husband watches something, he's like, "Oh, did you see this?" I'm like, "What's the source? Where did they get that information? Like,
Where's the
show me the
attribution?
journal. Yeah,
Yes,
where's
I
the
know.
source? Like,
I know. And that's the thing. I think we just live in this really fast news cycle. So people are always trying to get things on first.
yeah,
I mean, we always used to say we want to be factual first,
for sure.
And I think that is still the norm for traditional newsrooms. But when you have so much out there in the world and they're saying, well, this happened this way and this happened this way, and you're trying to disseminate, like, well, okay, what's true, what's not true, it's really difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And, at the end of the day, people aren't rushing home because they don't find news as valuable.
Mhm.
And at the same time, we need journalism more than ever.
More than ever.
More than
So
ever.
true.
And so it's really hard to convince people to get off of kind of like these rhetorical, political conversations that don't have anything to do with the bread and butter
Yes,
issues in your city that you live in.
absolutely.
And I think like, okay, why don't we talk about what's going on in school boards more? Why don't we talk about the issues going on with, with so many like really big issues that are at the heart of our community. Schools are at the heart of our community,
Yeah.
and we don't cover it as much. And also we just don't, it's hard to get people to really click on those stories too. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because people say, I don't want bad news. There's too much bad news. But then if you really look, everyone's a liar.
Yeah.
Because you look online, you see what they're clicking on, and
Yeah.
it's always like the worst,
The worst
story
story.
imaginable
Yeah.
that people are clicking on.
Yeah.
So I do think people are addicted to breaking news.
Mhm.
I think people. I just think we're programmed like that now. And I wanted to ask you if you had any advice on handling that, because Rebecca and I talk about this a lot. We're on our phones. I do social media for St. Louis Mom, and we do have to be on our phones, and so we receive these like breaking news
Mhm.
alerts often. And, we talk about silencing our notifications and
Mhm.
whatnot, but
Yeah.
you are in the world of news and you are constantly reporting on breaking news. And how do you manage that as a mom? Like, how do you take in that information day to day and then go about your day as a mom? Like, how do you do that?
It's hard. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't have a good answer,
Yeah.
because sometimes it really tears me apart. Like some news, especially with kids,
Yes.
especially the things that are going on with gun violence, all
Yes.
these things. And then you worry about drugs. The experts say you're supposed to talk to your kids about suicide at like before age 10 now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Things
like that where I'm like, am I really supposed to be having these conversations? The experts say yes. I mean, I worry about everything,
Yeah.
and the news is so gut wrenching
Yes.
and dismal. Like you can go out into the world and think, what is good in the world? Like
Mhm.
you really have those down moments.
Mhm.
So I don't really have a great answer, but I do feel like as moms, we compartmentalize so much.
Yeah.
That it's like, this is work. This is teaching me something, maybe what not to do, or maybe what conversations to have, or what to look out for.
Mhm.
love
But
that.
it's like
Yeah.
you try to use it as information. That it's not good or bad. It's just information, and it's good. And this is now knowledge that I can use in my daily life.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I said this, before we started. There have been times when I haven't read something ahead of time, and I'll read it, and it takes my breath away. Where
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, that's terrible.
Yeah.
How can this be?
Yeah.
How can this be happening in our community? That
Right.
kind of stuff.
Well, and we've talked about this so much about like social media is such a great tool
Mhm.
for motherhood because we
Yes.
have access to so much, more information than we did before, which was
Mhm.
awesome. But on the flip side, now you can know before you've had your first cup of coffee, 10 really tragic things that have happened all across the world.
I know.
And now you're supposed to go change a diaper or pack a backpack or pack a lunch. And so I feel like something that we tell moms like on our platform is like, do what you can in your own home, right?
Mhm.
We have a really powerful rule in raising the next generation. Do what you right?
Yeah,
Because
that's great.
we can't impact what's going on across the globe, or global conflicts or political things, but what we can do is in our own home,
Mhm.
and but yeah, I think in so many ways, that access to information, it can just be so exhausting, and then how do I live in light of that?
Right. Yeah, it's really hard. And I always try to think the best thing I can do is raise a kind individual, someone who's not going to go out into the world and cause harm to people, you know?
Yes.
And that's also hard. That's a lot of work. And so sometimes you're so busy working towards that
Yeah.
that you have to do this with
Exactly.
everything,
Exactly.
you know?
Mhm.
But it's tough. I think it's really tough because what you find, I think as a mom and as a woman, you find a lot of times you show up in spaces where you don't necessarily belong, or
Mhm.
where you want to belong, but it's hard. Like the equity piece, even in a
Mhm.
newsroom. Like news, I always say is for young people because the job itself is really challenging for moms.
Mhm.
It's like they want you to, and it's not they like KSDK. It's like the industry
Yeah.
itself. Because you're still on deadline pressure. You still have to give up everything if the arch falls down, right? You should, but I mean, like,
Right.
there have been times where I'm like, okay, there's a storm, I have to go now,
Yeah.
or this breaking political story. That's happened before. And so it's really hard, I think, because it's still inequitable in many ways, in workspaces, in school spaces, in corporate spaces,
Yeah.
to be a mom. To do all these things that you want to do for your job, you want to raise good humans, you want to show up for your friends, all these things. There's so much pressure, right?
Yeah.
And then you want to solve what's going on across the world.
Exactly. Yeah,
So
that's
it's
a whole
hard.
other episode.
It's hard,
Yes.
yeah. And
Yeah.
then you've got all these really heavy things that are happening where
Mhm.
you're like, this is so hopeless. I don't really know how am I going to live in the next year? How are we
Yeah.
going to even be alive?
Yeah.
And I don't mean that dramatically, but I think like
Right.
global warming, like all
Yeah.
things. I just think like, are we going to be alive in 20 years?
I know.
What if a meteor comes?
I
I'm always
know.
like really, if I let myself get
Yeah.
really anxious about it, I can really go into some dark places.
Yes.
So.
But speaking of not dark places,
Sorry.
we cannot complete this podcast without talking about the Very Asian Foundation.
Aw,
Yes.
Something
thanks.
that inspires me was brought kind of out of like a really kind of a sad, dark situation, like
Yeah.
but created such like an opportunity to create light and community. And can you talk to us a little bit about like the
Sure.
origin of your foundation
Yes.
and
Thank
anything
you.
you
Well,
can
thank you for
share?
asking.
Yeah.
So, it was just a viral moment. It was a woman, I basically on New Year's Day, which, will be around in a couple months, talked about what Americans eat on why on New Year's. And I don't know about you, but I mean, as a Missouri girl, never really had a tradition.
No.
We never like ate anything that
Neither.
was special.
No.
But we did like Americans eat greens for wealth, corn for coin. I mean, just traditions that I never knew. And then at the end of the segment, I just said, and I had dumpling soup because that's what a lot of Korean people do. Now, Korean people know it's not really dumplings, it's rice cakes, all these technical things. I kind of watered it down because everyone throws dumplings into dokguk. But a woman called to complain, said I was very Asian, needed to keep my Korean to myself, needed to talk about what white people eat, like all these things.
Yes.
And I just shared it. I just shared me listening to the voicemail because it was really incredible. Like it was like, oh wow, she really has a problem with these dumplings,
It really needed to tell you.
She
Yeah,
needed
I
to
know.
tell you.
And it was, to me, it was wild because and this is, I don't mean to be ageist when I say this, but she sounded so young. She sounded like someone I could see in the pickup line at school.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, what got to me because, growing up in Missouri, really wanting to be a person who worked in Missouri and never felt like I had the right opportunity and felt like was told over and over again that I didn't belong in Missouri and I needed to go to the West Coast. And people don't say that now, but 20 years ago, people said that kind of stuff to you. So I just, coming back, that was really hard. And during the pandemic, that was really hard. Like there's a lot of anti-Asian stuff.
Yeah.
And so I shared it and it went completely viral. Slow news day. Really, like if you want to ever go viral, do it on January 1st. Like no one said that, I mean, I realized that. It was like luck and timing. And then we made Very Asian shirts that went, you can do a pop-up shop or whatever online. And we gave all that money to the Asian American Journalists Association. And then I went on the Ellen show. When I tell this to kids
so
now,
cool.
they don't know who Ellen
Yeah.
is. But I'm like, has anyone seen
Our
Finding
generation
Nemo?
does.
And they're like, oh, Dory.
Dory.
But then we started the foundation and we called it the Very Asian Foundation. So I like to say now that we all, like people will say really nice things when they shouldn't. It really is just about being a mom who wanted to see something better for her kid, you know?
Yeah.
And I think any mom would do that if they had the support, which I had so much support from St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we can all meet a moment every day, you know, doesn't matter what it is. It can be big or small. So you just kind of go with it. So now in this climate, I'm like, you can just call us VAF if very Asian sounds. If it's too much for you, you just say whatever you want. I don't care.
Oh, everything's too much in this climate, I tell you.
It is. It's hard. Yeah, because it's definitely not political, you know, and because I'm adopted, I'm the only Asian person in my family. So that's the thing that I think is always a reminder. Your currency really is your appearance. And so I'm very proud to be Korean, but I mean, I'm also like the daughter of white farmers, you know, and and laborers. So it's really kind of,
we can have more than one identity.
Yeah. We have a mixed bag. I love that. Yeah. I love that. Well, we're so excited that we got to chat with you today. How can moms connect with you, whether it be through your foundation? When are you on the news so they can make sure to watch you?
Thank you. 5 to 8 now. We're on so long in the morning. And then probably my social, Michelle Lee TV.
Okay.
And then she's a great follow.
Oh, really? Thank you so
We really love the makeup tutorials in particular.
I will keep doing more of those. It's more makeup for really tired people. That's what it should be.
Tired people.
Thank you.
Yes. All right. Thanks for tuning in, St. Louis moms. We'll get to you on our next episode. Thanks for listening to Moms of the Lou. We hope it encouraged you and put a pep in your step and helped you get to know our community a little bit better. Be sure to find us on Instagram, STLouis_mom. You can find us on Facebook, St. Louis Mom. You can find us on our website, www.stlouismom.com. In case nobody else tells you today, you're a great mom and you're doing a great job. Chat with you next time. This episode of Moms of the Lou was brought to you by our partner, the Salvation Army.